He shook my hand, but he didn't look at me. His eyes were on my wife. She was in the yard, chasing our son through the grass. The sound of his laughter carried, sharp against the silence that had fallen between us. The retired cop leaned in. His grip on my hand tightened just enough to feel deliberate. "What was your wife's maiden name?" The question caught me off guard. Too sharp, too pointed. I told him. His face drained of color. The man who had carried the weight of violence, of years on the job, suddenly looked fragile, broken. "Leave this neighborhood," he whispered. "Take your son. Do not tell her why." He slid something into my hand, a crumpled, brittle newspaper clipping. When I unfolded it, my chest went cold. A face, hers, younger but unmistakable. A headline, a trial. The words blurred as I read, but one line burned clear enough. Acquitted on grounds of insufficient evidence. I looked up. My wife laughed as she lifted our boy in her arms. The image of perfection, the sound of innocence. But my hand was trembling against the paper, and somewhere deep in my gut I knew my life had just split in two. At first, denial felt safer. Newspapers make mistakes. Faces resemble other faces. But the name was the same, the eyes too exact, and the charge? It had been murder. A young man, a lover, stabbed in his apartment, blood soaking the carpet while she walked free with her smile intact. I folded the clipping away, buried it beneath the useless clutter in my desk drawer, and for a while I pretended. At dinner she talked about recipes, school schedules, family outings. Her voice smooth, practiced. Too smooth. Every detail rehearsed, as if she knew what a wife was supposed to sound like. I began to notice her pauses, how she lingered at the window when she thought no one was watching, how her phone faced down on the counter, screen hidden, password changed. It wasn't the murder that hollowed me out. It was the thought that the woman feeding my son macaroni and smiling across the table had lived an entire life I was never meant to know. And now she was hiding something again. I moved quietly. I checked the records. Her birth certificate, her maiden name, her employment history. Everything neat, orderly, scrubbed clean. Almost too clean. Her phone bill was harder. A forgotten password led to the trail. Late-night calls to a number I didn't recognize. Always between midnight and 2. Always brief. I ran the number through a search. It belonged to the brother of the murdered man. I stared at the screen until my eyes blurred. The walls of our home felt tighter after that. Her smile sharper, her touch colder. But I played along. I laughed at her jokes, kissed her cheek, tucked our son into bed while she hummed in the doorway. Meanwhile, I scraped hair from her brush, sent it in an envelope. DNA testing, discreet, untraceable. It was the only way to quiet the noise in my head. The suspicion gnawed at me, but beneath it all was something worse, a calm certainty that she wasn't done lying. She never would be. The report came 2 weeks later. I opened it alone in my office, the blinds drawn. The first page made my hands go numb. Our son wasn't mine. The DNA was conclusive. The blood that ran through him belonged to someone else. I read the result 3 times, then folded the paper carefully, slowly. My pulse never rose. My face never broke. Inside, the storm was violent, but outside, I was a statue. That night, I placed the report on the kitchen table. I didn't say a word. She walked in, towel in her hands, hair damp from her shower. She saw it, froze, and for the first time since I met her, her smile cracked. Her lips parted. Her eyes widened. She whispered, "I can explain." But I didn't want explanations. I wanted silence. So I gave it to her. I met her gaze with the cold weight of knowing, and I said nothing at all. The next morning I packed 2 bags, one for me, one for my son. She watched me from the doorway, panic in her voice, pleading in her eyes. Every word she threw at me was soaked in desperation. Promises, apologies, half-truths that collapsed under their own weight. But I didn't answer. I let her choke on the quiet. When I lifted my son into the car, she broke. Tears spilled, hands trembled, knees hit the gravel of the driveway. She begged. She screamed my name. She swore the past was over, that he was mine in every way that mattered. I started the engine. Her voice cut through the glass, raw, ragged, feral. But my son leaned against me, small hand clutching mine. He didn't look back. I drove away without a single word. People talk about heartbreak as if it's fire, but they're wrong. It's ice. It spreads slow, numbing you piece by piece until you don't even feel the cut when it finally breaks you open. I don't remember her face as we left, only the silence that followed us down the road. For years, I thought love was the anchor. Now I see it for what it was, chains. She forged them link by link, lie by lie, until I was bound to her shadow. But tonight, as my son sleeps in the next room, breathing steady and safe, I know one truth with perfect clarity. She lost everything. I lost nothing worth keeping. And I will never, ever look back.